I said, give me the upset. And you said?
The Minnesota Vikings. I would be really, really cautious if I'm the San Francisco 49ers approaching the Minnesota Vikings because they are a very talented team. They're a team that has a Super Bowl caliber roster. They can win on defense because they have hunters up front. Danielle Hunter, Everson Griffin. Their linebacker core is outstanding with Barr, Eric Kendricks. And then offensively, their ability to control the game with the run while also being able to attack and generate points in the passing game off play action to Thielen and Diggs, they could give the San Francisco 49ers problems. Also because they're experienced. They've been in the playoffs.
Yes.
2 years ago, they went to the
games.
They went to the championship game. The San Francisco 49ers haven't been to the playoffs in a while. And even though they have some individuals who have played, the entire team has not been there. So when you play a playoff game, one, you have to get used to the speed and the intensity of the game being much faster. It's a more physical affair. It is one where the kind of win or go home mentality brings a different level of urgency. And sometimes it takes a while for young players to adjust to that. And so if this game is tight going into the third quarter and fourth quarter, you just wonder, do they have the wherewithal to handle the pressure that comes along with it? And then also you have the Jimmy Garoppolo factor. How is he going to perform in his first playoff start? The game speeds up. Can he settle in really, really early to kind of play like he played in the regular season? I think this is a game where Kyle Shanahan's opening script, the first 15 plays, he has to get his quarterback settled and comfortable really, really early so he can play like the Jimmy G that we've seen.
Green Bay, Seattle, just because the line, Fox bet, is -4, so that's a kind of a field goal game. I don't think Green Bay's offensive line, I think I think they've done a very good job developing and drafting offensive linemen, but I don't love their O-line this year. Sometimes they don't get the push. I think they were overwhelmed by the Niners' defensive front, the Chargers' defensive front, at times the Eagles' defensive front. Those are good defensive fronts. And Seattle is a great run-stopping team, not much of a pass rush team. I worry about Green Bay because off their bye they were blown out. Kansas City, San Francisco, Baltimore off a bye, blew out teams. I don't know if Matt LaFleur's great. I have concerns about Green Bay. They're 13-3, and they don't have a really impressive win since September 15th, beating the Vikings.
You know, it's a tough team. This is what I'm worried about with the Green Bay Packers, and it comes down to two words: commitment and trust. Will Matt LaFleur be committed to running the ball? The team has been built to run the ball, to play complementary football. The defense has played well by generating turnovers, and they've been able to win using that formula. Can he commit to running the ball, and will Aaron Rodgers trust Matt LaFleur to stick to that game plan? What typically has happened in the past for the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers has had to do everything. He has had to be the magician. He has had to kind of do Herculean-type stuff to get them to advance. This year, he hasn't had to play like that, and they've won. In the playoff game, is he patient enough to stick to the script if the game starts out slow, or do they get to a point where he throws it 40 to 45 times? If the Packers are winning, they're playing the right way, I think his pass attempts are probably between 30 to 35. If it gets north of that, the Green Bay Packers are not playing the way they want to play, and I think it makes them susceptible to lose to a Seattle Seahawks team that is used to being in this environment. Remember, they played more one-score games than anybody this year.
Yeah, Seattle's in tight games all the time.
Tight games all the time. And so if I'm Pete, the way I'm thinking, I want to slow this game down. I want to run it. I want to drain the play clock. I want to make this a fourth-quarter game. I want to get to the point where we're within one score in the fourth quarter, and then we play 15 minutes to win it all. If they get the game to that point.
With no pressure, by the way. House money, Green Bay, big favorite. Supposed to win.
And it's hard sometimes to win at home because the anxiousness and the anxiety from your home fans thinking, oh, my gosh, we're the favorite, we're supposed to win, it seeps into the sideline. So everything that you want to do if you're Pete Carroll and the underdog, you want to keep this game as tight as long as you can to get into the fourth quarter and see if the Packers can hold up against the pressure.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to be kind of the general manager here on two questions. So let's start with Brady. You're a team, you're the Chargers, you're Carolina. You can't get the quarterback you love in the draft, and here's Tom Brady, he's available. Here's Teddy Bridgewater, he's available. So we know Teddy and Tom can play. Tom's got the greater resume. Teddy's much older, younger. Tell me, if you were a general manager, would you be at all interested in Tom Brady?
Man, it's really hard because, Colin, last year he fell off the cliff. And I know we can make every excuse about the supporting cast and those things, but in looking at the tape, we saw things from Tom that we had never seen. Typically, if Tom had an open layup, he always knocked down the layup. If he had an open mid-range jumper, he always knocked it down. This year, more than most, we saw him miss things that he had never missed. Against the blitz, where Tom has been surgical for the last 3 years, he fell off a cliff. Passer rating of 67.8. Completion percentage was right around 37. That's not what he normally has done. The 3 years prior to that, his completion rate was over 50.
What about Gronk? Is it a Gronk factor?
I mean, obviously he didn't have the most talented supporting cast around him, but from watching him play, he wasn't on the mark. So now, can a 43-year-old quarterback turn it around? We've never seen a quarterback at this age play. We talk about George Blanda. But outside of that, we've never seen a 40-plus quarterback play at a high level and kind of rejuvenate it. I just don't know if Tom can bring it back. If he goes to a situation, man, it has to be a ready-made situation where he can kind of do the Peyton Manning thing, where his mind, his leadership ability, those things are the best assets that he brings to the team, and that he shows the team how to be a professional, how to be a champion. I just don't know on his talent alone if he can upgrade a squad.
I think that's totally fair. Let me ask you about this. So I've bounced around the country, and I've started over like 4 times. And when you start over, I tell my wife, this next 9 months to a year, I mean, it's going to be, I am a laser on the job because you're rebuilding stuff. What I can't have is drama, because that will it just punctures your momentum when you start a new job. So Matt Rule's going to get the job here in Carolina, and he's an aggressive guy with an aggressive owner, and they've got the 7 pick. They don't have to give up multiple number 1s to move to 3 to potentially get their quarterback. I would move. Now, listen to his reaction, because he knew when he got the job and he flew there, he was going to be asked about Cam. Now, he's not a dumb guy. He's on the private jet. Like, first question is going to be about Cam. So here is Matt Rule's answer on Cam in the future. Okay, so it's non-committal. Knew it was coming. My argument is, if his quarterback was Mahomes, Rodgers, Russell, Lamar, Matt Ryan, 7, 8 guys, he'd be like, ready to go. Instead it was, well, I don't want to commit. My takeaway is this. When you start a new job, if you retain Cam, it's going to be 12 months of Cam questions. That's a lot of drama for a new guy. I run the Panthers. I make picks. I get to the number 2 pick. Washington's not taking a quarterback. I get to the number 2 pick.
Yeah, I mean,
am I nuts on that?
No. You're not nuts. Look, I love Matt Rule. I love what he's been able to do at Temple, then at Baylor. He understands how to turn around a program. He has a very clear vision for how he wants his teams to play. He believes in toughness. He has a level of adaptability where he will take the best system to put his players in to enable them to win. I think what he did was brilliant in terms of being non-committal. He didn't say, hey, Cam is out. He didn't say Cam is in. I think what he wants to do is really look at Cam Newton and what Cam Newton has been the last couple of years when he's been on the field and healthy, and then assess what is coming in the draft this year and next year. Everyone wants to move off of Cam because Cam is making $19 million. But when you really look at the $19 million cap number compared to what Jared Goff is making at 35, compared to what Russell Wilson is making, it's really a very, very affordable number.
Yeah.
If he does nothing and just keeps Cam for a year while drafting his quarterback, he could very well do what Kansas City did with Alex Smith and Pat Mahomes. Just because Cam is on the roster, it doesn't prohibit the Carolina Panthers from finding their quarterback of the future. I think he wants to give himself every option until he absolutely has to make a decision. And he really doesn't have to make a decision until very, very late in the process.
By the way, Mike McCarthy presser with the Dallas Cowboys, you make anything of it?
Look, man, I like Mike McCarthy with the Dallas Cowboys. And I think he has been underrated, and I really think he's been disrespected in terms of what he is as a coach. The success that he had with the Green Bay Packers. Look, prior to the wheels falling off at the end, here's one of the top coaches. It was Belichick, Tomlin, Mike McCarthy. Those 3 were the most winning during that span. He's won a Super Bowl. He's won double-digit wins multiple occasions. And he did it with without ever having a top running back.
Yeah, but it should be noted, he didn't have many great defenses either.
No. So he did it with that. And I think what people need to realize, because we've heard a lot about Aaron Rodgers being a transcendent talent, but I think people forget when Aaron Rodgers came in the league, those first 2 preseasons, the Green Bay Packers didn't know if he could play. Mike McCarthy did a lot of groundwork with his quarterback school to build Rodgers up to being the player that we respect and see as one of the best in NFL history. He understands how to develop quarterbacks. He also understands and has an affinity for the running game. We were together when I was a player at Kansas City. He understands how to play smash mouth football. He will be fine in Dallas. He is ready for the job.
It's interesting when you take a year off from somebody, somebody gets fired, and the optics are bad. And, it's like art. We appreciate it more. The artist dies, and 10 years later, the painting's worth more.
Yes.
And I think with Mike McCarthy, time away from the sport did him well. He kind of got thrown. I'm not blaming Aaron Rodgers, but he was made out to be the incompetent, not progressive. And it's like... And then he used all the right keywords. I've been studying analytics. In the end, his resume is pretty darn impressive.
His resume is very impressive. The people that he's worked under, the stuff that he has done
and
individually.
You know him.
Yes, I know him. Look, he was together in Kansas City. And anyone who has played under Marty Schottenheimer, coached under Marty Schottenheimer, the one thing that you value is the ball. When you look at the turnover rates, the Green Bay Packers rarely turn the ball over. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers got the affinity for not turning the ball over? Mike McCarthy. Because when you turn the ball over, the odds go through the roof that you're going to lose the game. So he's going to retain possession. So some of the sloppiness that you've seen from the Cowboys in the past, he'll eliminate that. They'll play clean football. He will run the ball. He will find a way to use multiple tight ends. So they have to upgrade the tight ends. But this Dallas team, he'll take what they were and just enhance it and tweak it. And they'll play really good football. I think he is going to make them a really, really dominant team in time. And I think he's going to do wonders for the quarterback. The quarterback will continue to improve. He will get better. But the team will be run through the running back, something that we've never seen him have the luxury of having, a big-time all-star running back.
Here's the Jones family. You ever met Charlotte, by the way?
I have not.
Sharp as a tack. The kids are all smart.
No,
Jerry's kids are bright.
Look, it's a premier franchise. I also think his experience, McCarthy's experience in Green Bay, it won't be too big for him. All the stuff going around with Jerry and the brand and America's team, he'll keep the main thing. He'll focus on the product on the field. You will see a much better version of the Dallas Cowboys going forward.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.